touching about the Rose Bowl, I can pick up the ball and run with it. Psychologically, you want to win the Rose Bowl, okay? There's a lot of things, a lot of reasons why. Because first of all, it's a game that is highlighted. ESPN puts it in a prime position at 5 p.m. on New Year's Day. They'll draw a pretty good rating, even though it's Ohio State against Utah. I don't think it'll be a great rating. I think, Utah and the Pac-12, will anybody in the Pac-12 care that their longtime conference affiliate Utah, it's been in the conference 11 years, is playing in the Rose Bowl? I don't think
it doesn't have that Rose Bowl feel to it.
Nobody in Los
Ohio
Angeles,
State and USC.
Yeah, it gives two craps about Utah. So, so at any rate, but psychologically, I think it is a jump-off point for this program for next year. I think it's something that propels C.J. Stroud to another level as the quarterback if he's able to put a Rose Bowl win on his resume. Just a lot of players, as we said, this was a jumping-off point for Ryan Day's first team in 2019, which turned out to be a pretty good year for the Buckeyes. Of course, adding Justin Fields helped, and having J.K. Dobbins helped. But they had arguably the best season in Big Ten play anybody's ever had, 10 wins by double digits, I believe. I think no one's ever done that, 10 Big Ten wins, all by double digits in the same season over conference opponents. So to my way of thinking, that was a huge win for Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, even though it was kind of the swan song for a lot of guys, including Dwayne Haskins, was done after that game. But there were a lot of guys who took it from there in 2019, and it was a magical season up through the loss to Clemson in the semifinals. So it really gives you more momentum for recruiting. It gives you more momentum going into winter workouts. Guys show up a half hour early. They smile, they're happy, everyone can, hey, see that tackle I made in the Rose Bowl or whatever. Everyone has a happier thought about it when you go into the offseason after a win. It won't be an easy game, obviously. This is arguably the biggest game in school history when you think about it. First time in a Rose Bowl. They've been in New Year's Six caliber games before. Urban Meyer led Utah to an undefeated season in 2004, and they beat Pittsburgh 35-7 in the Fiesta Bowl that year. And then Whittingham, who came in after Meyer, they went down to the Sugar Bowl in 2009 and beat Alabama pretty handily, 31-17 in one of those. Well, they didn't care about it, SEC. It wasn't a championship, they didn't care to be there type thing.
They haven't cared about 4 games this bowl season.
Yeah, they're 0 for 4 on the caring right now, aren't they? So Ohio State better care, because if they don't, Utah is a hard-hitting team, and they're going to out-hit Ohio State and out-physical Ohio State, beat Ohio State if they're not up to play their best game.
And Steve, not just about the program, but about Ryan Day in particular. Urban Meyer can be credited for so many things at Ohio State. At the top of the list is 7-0 against Michigan, but it was the same mentality of playoffs or bust. And when Ohio State did not reach the playoffs, Urban Meyer, to his credit, he was able to rally the troops, get them refocused. As he always said, we celebrate for 24 hours, we get our next mission. And that wasn't just coach speak in his Urban Meyer-esque talk. He did it. They went out against Notre Dame and beat them in the Fiesta Bowl. They went out against USC and beat them in the Cotton Bowl. They went out against Washington in the Rose Bowl after disappointments and being left out of the playoffs. And so we'll see if Ryan Day has that same ability to refocus the team and get them ready for a meaningful game, depending on your perspective, after a disappointment.
Yeah, and the other thing to think about, I'm watching this. Maryland is returning an interception, it appears, for a touchdown.
Okay, that's good news for me.
Big Ten is out early here.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech. So that's like a 92-yard touchdown return. May have been a punt. Tarheeb Still for Maryland. That's like they're going to get the ball to start the second half too, so they may get touchdowns at the beginning of both halves. But it was a punt, it appears. Yeah, you think about, these opportunities, to play in this type of game don't come along very often, and Ohio State has not lost consecutive games in 8 years. It was the end of the 2013 season. They lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten championship game, and then they got beat by Clemson in the Orange Bowl. I think it was 40-35, I think was the final score in that game. One of the very few games in Ohio State history, like one or two, that Ohio State scored 35 points and did not win the game. So some history was made that day at the Orange Bowl, but with good old Taj Boyd, I think, was at the controls then. Just a terrible Ohio State defensive team that year. And of course, got upset, undefeated, get upset, had won 24 straight games. Urban Meyer's first 24 games, and then he loses two in a row. And you're like, what's up with the culture at Ohio State? Well, they came back off of that and went 14-1 the following year and won the national championship. So, I guess, culture is what culture is. But at any rate, as I said, there's a lot to be gained by playing well in this game. And I think you can't understate it. I mean, you want to recruit the West Coast well. They've had some West Coast recruits come out to practice and enjoy what they've seen from Ohio State. So I think it's only a positive being in this game. And, if guys decided that it wasn't for them and they didn't want to play and for their own reasons or whatever, I don't have the least bit of issue with that, because I can't make, business decisions for somebody else, or people have to make the decisions that they have to live with. So that's kind of where I stand on that.